Welcome back to Learning English with Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph's College, Devgiri, Kozhikode, Kerala. We are learning the description of vowels today. The previous sessions we learned about the International Phonetic Alphabet, and we learned the vowels and consonants of the International Phonetic Alphabet, and we know that of the 44 phonemes of the International Phonetic Alphabet of the English language, we have 20 vowel sounds and 24 consonant sounds. And today we are going to learn about the description of vowel sounds. And this lecture of the description of the vowel sounds of received pronunciation helps us to understand the very pronunciation of the vowels, as well as why are they described or pronounced so. And we are also going to look at the way these sounds are produced. Alright, now of course we have to understand once more the very definition of a vowel sound. And we know that a vowel is a voiced sound in the pronunciation of which there is no obstruction or narrowing of the current of air of such a kind as to cause audible plosion or friction. That is the definition of a vowel sound. We are very sure about that. So we have to understand that a vowel sound, alright, is number one, is a voiced sound. It is a voiced sound, right? The vocal cords vibrate. And the second thing, this is the first thing, it's a voiced sound. And the second thing is there is no narrowing or obstruction of the passage of air. Air passes freely without any obstruction or any impediment on the way. Air passes freely, and there is no impediment on the way in the oral cavity or the mouth cavity. And now that the air is passing without any obstruction, there is no plosion or friction. This is the very important thing we have to understand. There is no plosion or friction. Okay, this is about the production of vowel sounds. And now we are just going to learn why do we say that. Okay, all right, a vowel is a voice sound. It is in fact a voice sound because when we produce a vowel sound like ah, so we have the sound ah, all right, like like our cat, right? Cat. Okay, so we have cat, all right, cat. Or we have another one like get. The word get, and the sound is a, get. All right, the transcription is get. All right, another sound is like we have put. All right, the sound is p-u-t, put. Okay, and the oo. All right, so we have oo, a, and a. Alright, so when we look at these three phonemes, like a on one side, a on the other side, and woo, right? These three sounds, when we articulate the sound a as in cat, a as in get, woo as in put, okay, the air passes smoothly. There is no block in the vocal tract. Air passes smoothly. No, right? Who, put, oo, put, get, a. Right? Air passes smoothly, and hence we can say that there is no pollution, no friction. All right, it's very clear. And now we have to understand that it is the size of the mouth cavity. Okay, it is the size and the shape of the vocal cavity, the mouth cavity, that is deciding the sound. All right, the very characteristics of the sound. It is the shape and shape as well as the size of the mouth cavity. All right, it is the oral cavity. It is the shape as well as the size of the oral cavity that decides the very characteristics of the sounds. And the next thing we have to understand is the vowel sounds. They can sometimes be rounded, okay, in the sense that the lips can be in the rounded position. Lips can be in the rounded position or in the unrounded position. All right, rounded position and unrounded position. Look at the sound as in cat, bat, mat. Okay, we do not have any rounding, right? Okay, cat. It is of course spread lips, not rounded, right? So here it is the lip position of the lips is spread. All right, again spread lips, again spread lips, get, bet, pet. But the next one, like in put, put, it is spread here, but it is here, it is rounded. Okay, so it is rounded. So it is the size and shape of the vocal cavity that decide the nature of the vowel, that decides how one sound is different from the other. And similarly, it is the shape of the lips, right? Okay, the shape of the lips, whether it is a vowel sound can be rounded, like in oo, o. All right. And now, of course, it is of course the part of the tongue. We have the tongue, and we use different parts of the tongue. And the parts of the tongue also decide the nature of the sounds. Like sometimes we would be using the back of the tongue. Sometimes we are using the front of the tongue. Sometimes we are using the center of the tongue. So based on whether it is the front, whether it is the back, or even whether it is the central part of the tongue or the center of the tongue, right, the vowel's nature differs from one phoneme to another. Now, another factor that decides the nature or characteristics of the vowel sounds is of course the height to which the tongue is raised. The height to which the tongue is raised. Height of the tongue is very important. The height to which the tongue is raised, right? Say for example, when you say a sound like F-A-R, far, right? Far. The tongue is not at all lifted. We say the tongue, look at the tongue is just lying at the extreme bottom of the oral cavity, mouth cavity. Far away, car. My car is far away from here. Alright, car, far. But sometimes we are lifting the tongue and the tongue is in a higher position, like in the case of E, oo, E, right? So these are the important factors that decide the characteristic of one vowel sound from another. What are the characteristics? Number one, of course, the shape and size of the mouth cavity, oral cavity. Number two, the shape of the lips, whether the lips are rounded or the lips are unrounded or spread. Number three, which part of the tongue is used, whether it is the front of the tongue like in E, a. Alright? So these four sounds are produced with the front of the tongue, or whether it is the back of the tongue, like in oo, 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 oh, oh, ah. Alright. Whether it is the center of the tongue, these are the factors that decide the description of a vowel sound. And now with this understanding, we are just moving forward, and now we are just going to another very important topic that is known as vowel limit. We have to understand what is vowel limit, right? So this is the question we are discussing right now. Vowel limit. What is vowel limit? Vowel limit refers to the height to which the tongue can be raised to produce a sound. Okay, so it is nothing but the height to which the tongue can be raised in the mouth cavity or in the oral cavity without any friction. Okay, so there is no friction, right? There cannot be any friction. What does it mean? The tongue is just lifted very close to the roof of the mouth. There is no contact, there is no friction when the air is passing out, and such a height to which the tongue is lifted is known as vowel limit. Alright, now we are just summing up everything. Okay, so today's lecture we are describing the vowel sounds, and we have to understand that a vowel is a voice sound in the pronunciation of which there is no obstruction or narrowing of the current of air of such a kind as to cause audible plosion or friction. Now we have to understand the other factors that decide the nature of vowel sounds, right? The first thing is vowel sounds differ from one to another on the basis of the shape and the size of the oral cavity, the mouth cavity. Number two, okay, the position of the lips, very important. Lips may be rounded or unrounded, and based on that, the nature of phonemes of English differ from the one another, especially the vowel sounds. Next is, of course, the part of the tongue that is used, like the front of the tongue, the center of the tongue, the back of the tongue is used. And next is, of course, the height to which the tongue is lifted. So these are the most important factors that decide the nature of the vowel sounds, right? So of all the 12 pure vowels, we can say that we have 12 pure vowels, and we can say that some of the sounds are produced with the front of the tongue. Which are the sounds which are produced with the front of the tongue? It's easy to understand. Okay, just say the sound E, E. Yeah, the front of the tongue is lifted to close a position of the roof of the mouth, right? The tongue, the front of the tongue is lifted and it goes to the roof of the mouth, and we say E. Alright, so the sound, the long E is, alright, a front sound. E. Next sound is the short E. Look at the short E. Okay, we say pit, sit, bit, E. E. Again front, the front of the tongue is used. Another sound is the A sound. Okay, we say pet, get, fet, A. It is again the front of the tongue. The front of the tongue is lifted. It is the pressure while producing the sound is on the front of the tongue, and we can say that A is also a front vowel. And the next sound is this A sound, like in cat, bat, mat, apple, apple, apple. Alright, it is the front of the tongue, that is right. So we can say that 1, 2, 3, 4, E, E, A. These are the 4 vowel sounds which are fronted, or which are the front vowel sounds of English, right? And now we just look at some other sounds which are produced with the back of the tongue. Let's look at the sound ooh, ooh, ooh. When we say ooh, right, like in shoe or like in broom, room, ooh, we are using the back of the tongue, and we can say that ooh is, all right, back, right? We have ooh, right? Ooh is a back sound. Similarly, we have seen the sound in put, ooh, ooh, ooh. Again, it is the back of the tongue that is used. And next we have the sound in got, o, short o, got, o. And that sound o is again a back sound. Alright, it is produced with the back of the tongue, o. Okay, o. This is the symbol for o. Alright, like in o, got, short, pot, o. Next sound which is produced with the back of the tongue is the long O sound, like in CAUGHT, catch, caught, long sound O. Alright, okay. And there is one more, there are 5 back sounds, and the fifth one is the sound in the word far away, car, C-A-R, car, alright, alright. And from this we can understand that ooh, there are 5 back sounds, 5 vowel sounds which are produced with the back of the tongue. And now we are looking at there are some sounds which are produced with the center of the tongue. Which are the sounds which are produced with the center of the tongue? Look at the word world, W-O-R-L-D, world, Alright, so you have the sound not with the front, not with the back, it is with the center. And we can say that there are some sounds which are produced with the center, and number 1 is of course the sound right? That is like in girl, G-I-R-L, girl, B-I-R-D, bird, earth, right? Right. And the next sound which is produced with the center of the tongue is of course, right, like the sound in up, the sound up, like in bucket, like in cup, like in up, not the front again, not the back again. We are sure that it is with the center, and the sound is up. And next sound which is produced with the center of the tongue is the sound in a long sound, right? Sound, as in L-O-N-G, a long, A-M-O-U-N-T, a mound, A-C-R-O-S-S, across, a mound, a long, So we have seen 3 central sounds, So there are 3 central sounds. Now we have, right, the 12 pure vowels, 5 plus 3, 8 plus 4, 12 pure vowels, right? So with this we wind up today's session. We understand that the vowels are described on the basis of 3 factors. Number 1, the position of the lips. Number 2, part of the tongue that is used. Number 3, the height to which the tongue is lifted. Okay, so this is the initial information, or these are the very basic concepts we have to understand while describing the vowel sounds. Next lesson, next lecture, we will be moving forward to, of course, describing the vowel sounds in a more detailed way with the help of course, what is called the cardinal vowel chart. We have what is called the cardinal vowel chart. So we can locate the vowels on the cardinal vowel chart, and we are just going to learn about the vowels in detail next session. Thank you very much for listening. May God bless you.